Good evening, everybody. The original intention was to stream quite a bit earlier than I am right now. This is going to be an early broadcast, and I probably need to repeat this for everybody who um, is going to be coming in a little bit later. But uh, it feels like it's been a while since there has been a Dirty Rectangles meetup. So for those of you not familiar with it, Dirty Rectangles is a local game dev meetup. In fact, a few people wound up moving to Toronto, and so they've also kind of created a cadet branch, although it kind of feels like it's steering things now. But one way or the other, Dirty Rectangles is back, and they're still not meeting in person. There's going to be a virtual meetup around 8 o'clock, I think. And normally I like to attend those, particularly when I haven't been in them for a while, and I have given presentations before. So the idea here, in fact, actually, one thing I should mention is that one of the people at Brace Yourself was a member of the Brace Yourself group. So I got a chance to have that connection. I don't know if I should out the name or that, but if you're watching, we know who you are, and you're thought of very fondly. Um, but in any case, my usual routine on this is to try and stream earlier if I can, and then once the meetup is fully underway, to give a host. Now, I tend to know the thing starts at 8. What I tend to notice is that there's a little bit of lead up, so it makes me feel a little bit better about my own start time. So the actual broadcast does not go live for a while, and then there's usually some kind of like music and intro screens and all of that. So what I normally do is I'll kind of keep that up in a side window, and once it looks like the presentations are underway, then I sort of give a host and move on. But particularly for those of you who are independent game developers or have aspirations towards it, I definitely encourage you to stick around, because the best thing I can say about these sorts of meetups are that, and this is, I think, true for like anything that you'll see. I think this is also true if you're maybe checking out Itch or anything along those lines. When you're dealing with small and independent games, oh hey Tikri, can't stay but want to stop real fast to say hi. Thank you very much, and thank you for your retweets and that. I'm sorry I'm a little later starting than I wanted to, but I'm largely explaining why. I hope you enjoy whatever it is you're up to. Probably broadcasting, I'm going to guess. But I probably won't be around if it is something long term. But we'll catch you in the next one. And I hope you have a good time, whatever you're up to. But yeah, so long story short, I think probably so. One, people will do small games and put them out to learn. Sometimes they'll do it because it's something that they don't necessarily see as sort of commercially viable, but it's something that they want to. Oh no, I'm sorry. I hate it when stuff like that. That's actually one of the reasons why I don't do a lot of collaboration. Good luck. I'm sorry that happened, and I'm sure you will do. I am sure you will do great. But I'm really sorry that happened. So best of luck. But yeah, the thing is that a lot of these are very personal or very unusual kinds of projects, and they may not necessarily have the polish that you're used to. They may not necessarily have even just mechanics that make a lot of sense. But and thank you to Korea. It's Phantom Brigade, so I know I'm going to have a good stream. But the big thing about these are that you don't need to spend a lot of time complaining about or even playing the things that don't really speak to you. What you do get to do, though, is you get to see unusual things, interesting things that you otherwise wouldn't have checked out, as long as you're willing to sort of have that search process and go through some things that maybe aren't a good fit. You can almost think of it as a job search. I'm not very good at job searches, and one defect that I have is that I do tend to select things that maybe aren't the best. They're not like a global optimum. They're just the local optimum. And it's because generally I don't think anybody really likes a job search, but I tend to stay in situations that maybe aren't the best for me for a long period of time. And of course, if I cast a broader net, or if I was willing to be a little bit more, hard nosed in terms of my search, then potentially, I have a better opportunity. And I know there's some people who are actually very, very good at doing that. So you can kind of think of it that way in terms of games. And this is one of the reasons why I think it's really important to try and go to local meetups and such. First of all, you get to meet interesting people, and if you aspire to game development, which I don't necessarily do, but I can think of a lot of adjacent things that I am interested in, particularly with data. I think it's fair to say that, like, getting to know people and, like, ideally meeting them in person, you get to take a measure of the person, you get, an idea, are they who they say they are? Obviously you can, there's always going to be maybe unscrupulous people who try to present otherwise, but you get to see their mannerisms, you get to talk with them, and you get to see what they're really passionate about. And not in the, declaring passion, but to actually just sort of see physically how they respond, and you get to see really what drives them. And I think one thing that's exciting about that is when you find a game you really connect with, and then you get to see someone talk about it and see that passion come across, to me, that really does help give you a better understanding about the game as a whole. Obviously, your experience of it is a huge factor, but it can be really fun to see people who have made things that you enjoy and to hear them talk about it in a way that their passion comes through. So again, like, it's one of the reasons why I take the time to talk about, when things don't line up with people's initial tastes. Part of that is to encourage people to sort of stick around and see if they can find something that is interesting to them, because, it's easy to get bored. It's easy to move on to other things. And, there's not always a benefit to sticking around. Like, if you watch a 3-hour movie and there's like a really, really good 20-minute scene, the question is, like, is it worth, the preceding 2.5 hours to see that 20-minute scene? Probably not, because I can think of some 3-hour movies that are really good all the way through. But, that's my taste. That's not necessarily anybody else's. So, like, it's hard to sort of tell people, check out weird things, be willing to sort of have a few failures in terms of search. It's always tough to call a project a failure, but, again, if it doesn't speak to you, you move on, and maybe the game will appeal to someone else. But I do think there's a long run benefit to being willing to expose yourself to something unusual. And that's just because number one, people grow and develop. One of the reasons why I wouldn't aspire to game development is because I'd suck at it, and I'd suck at it for a really long time before I would be any good. There's a lot of people who are already very good at it and can't necessarily make a living at it. So it's not exactly the sort of thing that, you want to pin your hopes on. But, you just kind of get to, I don't know, it's interesting to just sort of see how people think about games, and how differently people think about games. And then, like I said, every once in a while you find something that just blows knocks your socks off, blows you away, and, you find your new favorite game. But I focus maybe on the failures of search a little bit more, because I think it's easy to look at weird stuff or look at unusual collectives or things like that and maybe miss out on the real value because the first thing didn't appeal to you. Anyways, it's been about 10 minutes. We've got a new update for Phantom Brigade. I'm going to do the trailer. I'll get the usual disclosures and all of that out of the way after the trailer, but it is customary to look at the trailer. So this is going to be update 20, titled Get in the Mech Pilot.
Hey Brigadiers, this is Demi, Junior Community Manager on Phantom Brigade.
Hello, Demi.
It's time to get in the Mech Pilot, because this video will be covering our 20th update, introducing a revamped pilot system, new combat scenarios, more overworld events, and more. Let's dive in. Pilots are more than just a picture and a name now. We're bringing them to life with 6 different pilot personalities, each with their own unique animations, both in and out of combat. Pilots are now fully realized animated characters. You can customize their appearance and see all of their reactions on the battlefield through cockpit video feeds. In addition to these visual changes, we have reworked the pilot health mechanics to make keeping your pilot safe more intuitive. Instead of fatigue, pilots use health, with everyone possessing a different resilience to damage and maximum health. Depending on pilot condition, combat damage can lead to concussions or death, so be sure to keep an eye on the new pilot UI. In the past, destroying your environment during combat had no consequences aside from losing cover. That is about to change, as we are now introducing combat scenarios that will task the player with either protecting or destroying certain structures on the map. Every town, city, and village has certain buildings that, if protected, will increase hope. You might also be tasked with destroying an enemy base. More scenarios utilizing this mechanic are on the way in the near future. These features, along with lots of other changes and bug fixes, will arrive for all players on Tactical Tuesday, August 16th, 2022. Be sure to check out our dev blog next month, where we'll be previewing the features of our next big update. Also, keep an eye out for news on our next round of Steam playtests by joining our Discord or subscribing to our newsletter. See you on the battlefield.
So that's really neat. I think because I'm going to be wrapping up today, we're not going to do pilot customization, but I feel like at this point, maybe naming some pilots after... I think the logo's changed too. But I think... by the way, this is probably because I've occasionally looked at some business stuff, but I hate these kinds of videos, and I really wish YouTube would stop recommending them. Warren Buffett leaves the audience speechless. One of the most inspiring free investing. I guess free investing may be the account name. Why 2% succeed and 98% don't. This stuff is useless. Just like, just give me the fact. I don't need it to be. I don't need a YouTuber to make it quote unquote interesting to me. Anyways, let's. Why isn't it recommending my videos to me? No. All right, patch highlights, extreme makeover, pilot portrait. Oh yeah, actually, that was maybe not the good time to mention this. I was given a copy of Phantom Brigade for promotional purposes by Brace Yourself Games, pretty much since the start of the game. This is a game I've been really excited about. But I will say that it's been a while, but this game is starting to ramp up for its 1.0 release. I really don't know when that's going to be. I think it's fair to say sometime after October, given the date that it mentions on there. But it is always important to disclose this sort of stuff. I hope the enthusiasm that comes across is genuine, but I am always a little conscious of the fact that any recommendation I make, even if it's the implicit recommendation by playing a game, which is one of the reasons why these disclosures has to be done, I think one of the things that I can say is I am conscious of the fact that while I see streaming as more costly than buying a game, because of course time is very valuable, and I think for most games I could probably work even like a Starbucks job and be able to cover that in one shift. Maybe, something like Marvel's Midnight Suns might take 2 shifts. But, the thing is that time is quite valuable, particularly when you're really busy. To me, I don't necessarily see I don't necessarily quite see the corrupting influence of a key being given. But I'm also kind of conscious that, everybody goes to work, everybody gives up their time and for the money, and you want to be a good steward of it. You want to get as much as you can out of it. And in the end, people are ultimately going to be paying for a game that comes through on the recommendation. So I always hope that people enjoy the things that I play as much as I do. But it is, for one, both as a regulatory requirement, but number two, in terms of just trying to be as upfront as I can about this stuff. It's good to acknowledge and recognize that stuff. Sorry, there's one quick thing I need to check before I'm a little scattered in terms of getting started on the stream because I was kind of scrambling, but I didn't check to see if I had quality options, which I suspect I do. Yes, I do. Okay. Patch highlights: Extreme Makeover. Pilot portraits, animations, and health systems are totally revamped. Protect and Attack. New protection and destruction combat scenarios. Smooth operator, lots of optimizations, and more. Phantom Brigade is in early access, which means we are actively updating and adding new content based on our roadmap and your wonderful feedback. As we will be skipping September's update in preparation for the big changes to the pilot system, you can expect next Tactical Tuesday's update on October 18th, 2022 at 11 a.m. PST. See the full patch notes below. New features, and robot arm indicates changes due to community feedback. Pilot visuals. Pilots are more than just a picture now. 6 different pilot personalities with different mech idle animations both in and out of combat. Pilot personalities can change depending on how they're used in battle. A view of the pilot in the cockpit. Pilot customization. You can customize the look of your pilots. You can choose from different body types, skin colors, face shapes, hair types, hair colors, and accessories. Community feedback. Pilot HP. Pilot fatigue has been reworked into Pilot HP. Pilots will receive a random max HP value on game generation. If a pilot reaches 0 HP, they will die and be removed from the roster. Pilots regain HP slowly on the overworld. Every pilot is also given a concussion threshold. This is a consistent number of HP that the pilot will need to lose in a battle in order to be concussed. The pilot cannot lose any more HP after being concussed unless the cockpit is destroyed. Pilots will start a battle with whatever HP value they're at when you enter, and the concussion threshold will always be that consistent number below their current HP. Concussion damage has been reworked into pilot HP damage. Building protection destruction scenarios. New battle scenarios that involve the destruction of or protection of certain buildings in the map. Every town, city, village scenario has certain buildings to protect. Hope will increase if you protect the buildings, but the rewards will start decreasing if they start getting destroyed. The radio event combat scenario has a building to destroy now. Salvaging mech frames. You can now salvage mech frames after battle. They cost 80 salvage points, and you can't salvage any other parts from that mech if you do salvage the frame. Hello, Olaf. Is that game even getting updates? I thought there's a sequel coming out. Enemy mech frames can be salvaged only if the mech isn't completely destroyed, and player mech frames will only be salvaged if the mech is completely destroyed. Quick save. F8 will make a quick save, and F9 will load that save. New overworld events. Box event. You might get a box after liberating an entity. What's inside? You won't know until you open it. Bomb event. You might find yourself with a bomb. If it's deactivated, you can keep it and use it in some scenarios. If it's live, though, ... Booze event. Some booze can really take the edge off after a battle, but if you save it for a bigger celebration, it can help your pilots even more. Mail event. You found some mail. You can deliver it if you'd like, and you might just get a reward for it. Codes event. You might be able to intercept some enemy intel. You can choose to shut it down, or you can listen in for some information. Spies event. There are some spies in some locations, and if you can handle the combat correctly, you might even be able to get them onto the crawler. Electrical event. A storm has shorted out some electrical equipment. It needs to be repaired. I wonder if we could get someone on board that could do it faster. Paint event. Someone has vandalized the crawler because there is not much hope left. And new steps in the black market event. Changes. Pilot fatigue in all events has been updated to pilot HP. You can now contest provinces immediately without having to raise the escalation level first. That's interesting. I'm a little curious how that works now. Site liberation. When you liberate entities, they will become empty of any military faction. When the province is liberated, they become liberated and belong to the Brigade. Redesign the unit combat timeline UI. New design to account for pilot HP. More additions, including the mech name speed, a focus camera button, and a new unit symbol that you can set in the editing view. Added a color indicator to the unit tabs above the timeline. Updated the combat objectives UI visuals. Objectives can now look more refined and easier to read and understand. Balance changes. Decreased the damage output on the MSM Arcturus weapon. Decreased patrol count in warring provinces by 1. Decreased frequency of battle sites and decreased their timer length. Changed some weapons' concussion damage to account for the pilot HP changes. Workshop balance changes. Lowered the level of the workshop at the start by 1. Increased the number of required supplies to build mech parts and frames. Optimization, significant performance increases in a lot of areas of the game, and updated anti-aliasing. TAA has been updated to look smoother and better than before. Fixes. Fixed fence debris, teleporting to random locations and spinning rapidly. All right, we definitely ran into this last week. Fix Mech's arm weapons shields disappearing on the first turn of combat if they were destroyed in the previous battle. Fix the bug reporter button sometimes not functioning correctly when the timeline is in replay mode. Fix Mech repair slots sometimes not getting freed up after being fully repaired. Fix the overworld UI being visible on the main menu if you quit to the main menu during the salvage screen. Fix the game performance tanking when a unit is ejecting. Fixed unsaved changes to unit names not clearing completely when cancelled. Fixed problems with planning movement actions near the combat map borders. Fixed enemies not being targetable when overlapping with a hologram. Fixed the power line event being triggered from previously liberated entities. Fixed a number of parts in the inventory screen not updating until switching categories. Fixed province description panels rendering underneath the province names. Fixed Mech's left arm twitching before shooting certain two-handed weapons. Fixed the hydraulic subsystem having no quality options. Fixed rounding errors with HP bars. Fixed overworld UI not being visible in combat. Fixed mechs crumpling to the ground if they touch each other, if they touch other units as they land while spawning. This should fix the situations where mechs running around while crumpled up. Fixed a border outpost in Balekin being impossible to interact with. Fixed the cat event having a blank description in the actions list. Fixed the music stopping after loading a save during an event screen. Fixed mechs having awkward arm poses when firing secondary handguns. Fixed being able to place commands when the pause menu is open. Fix the captive delivery event not ending if you give the captive to a different location than the target. Fixed memory flags not updating correctly when loading older saves. Fixed the locked cache event not triggering correctly. Fixed the factory booze event from happening on non-factory entities. Fixed an exception occurring if a patrol spawns out of the map boundary. Fixed mech's footsteps and some destruction debris flickering swapping places. Fixed the captive not getting added to the base during the tree event. Fixed shot accuracy being displayed incorrectly when placing an attack action when it overlaps with a dash action. I'm wondering if... I think I might know what this problem is, but... fixed province liberation splash screen appearing before the salvage screen. Fixed SFX clicking locked base upgrade playing when you release click. Fixed SFX for hovering over base upgrades not playing. Multiple typo fixes and text updates. And then fixes since the experimental build. Now, we have been playing on the experimental build, but again, I'm not 100% sure where we are in the overall timeline. How you doing, Index Gnome? Fixed mech's HP bars in unit editing being incorrect. Fixed newly recruited pilots not showing a portrait during the briefing. Fixed pilot portrait and pilot editing view overlapping the bug reporter. And fixed pilot portraits during the briefing being incorrect if you change the pilot's appearance before briefing. So the funny thing here is I don't think... So it seems like there were actually chances for us to change the pilots, but for whatever reason, we didn't see that in the experimental build, at least the one we were playing. So I may have been playing an older version, but that's neither here nor there. We've read our entries, and we are now ready to jump into Phantom Brigade, hopefully for... Honestly, I'm hoping we do more than an hour of this, but we'll... I guess it kind of depends on how diligent Dirty Rectangles is with getting things started. And I do know it takes a minute for Phantom Brigade to load, so how are you all doing? I know Takri is probably broadcasting now, but Olaf, I hope you are well. Index Gnome, I hope you are well. Lurkers, I hope you are doing well. I thought I was on my way to improving my sleep schedule, and then it all fell apart. Oh, I got a new textbook. Bruce Hansen has had this he's had this like really comprehensive econometrics textbook, which was eventually split into two, and it's finally like, so you'd basically just be able to actually you can still download it for free, but not more than any other day. Sorry, I thought you said the other day. I'm like, oh god, what happened on the other day? There we go. Welcome to the Brigade. We're excited for you to experience Phantom Brigade and to have your help shaping its development during the early access period. During the course of development, some aspects of the game might feel rough, sparse, or buggy. Every month we'll release a major update, which will include bug fixes, new features, and quality of life improvements for players. We appreciate your patience and feedback throughout this process as we work to deliver the most important features and fixes. From the main menu, check out the early access roadmap to see what's coming out next for Phantom Brigade. Reach out to us via the Brace Yourself Games Discord community or read the latest patch notes for the latest changes and known issues. Thank you for joining us on this journey, and we look forward to making Phantom Brigade better and better with your help. Seizure warning. A very small percentage of people may experience a seizure when exposed to certain visual images, including flashing lights or visual patterns. These seizures may have a variety of symptoms, including lightheadedness, altered vision, eye or face twitching, jerking, shaking of arms and legs, disorientation, confusion, or momentary loss of awareness. Immediately stop playing and consult a doctor if you experience any of these symptoms. If you or any of your relatives have a history of seizures or epilepsy, it is recommended that you consult a doctor before playing. Powered by W-Wise. Powered up, you might say, by Power Up Audio. They work with... actually, it feels like they basically work on all of the really popular... indie games. But yeah, anyways, the Bruce Hansen thing. So he's been kind of had that textbook available publicly as PDFs forever, and I think it's actually still available. Like the preprint version is still available, but they weren't that expensive from Princeton because they had like a half-off sale at the same time. So it's incredible for like a brand new. Like actually, it was a pre-release to count as being included on that sale. I tend to read any text online, but the biggest thing I can say is that for a long time, so this is before the affiliate days, but when I was streaming on my MacBook, I also had the lowest level internet package for my machine. This is when I was streaming in school. And one of the things that I noticed in terms of an audience was that I attracted a certain number of people who wanted to watch smaller streams on phone, but because there were no quality options for smaller broadcasters, they were effectively left watching streams at low resolutions. Now, I didn't really design the stream for that, but, just necessity sort of said, okay, well, I'll put the bitrate down to something that I can handle because having a stream is better than no stream. And one consequence of that, in fact, I played a lot of Crusader Kings 2 at that time. Reading was essential because the resolution was never, even if you were watching on full screen, the resolution was never going to let you be able to see what was on the screen. Now, with that in mind, clearly now I'm broadcasting at 1080 and at 6,000 bit rate. So most people who want to see it at the full resolution can. But I've always found it helpful not to assume that everybody can read what's on the screen. No, it's fair, but it's worth. The reason why I like explaining this sort of stuff is that my broad experience of gaming has been that most of the stuff that I assume is true is completely wrong. So even basic stuff like, Among Us, right? Everybody who's ever going to hear about Among Us has already heard about it. There's just no more room for it to sell. And yet it's still quite a, it's not selling like it wasn't at its peak, but it's still doing healthy business. And keeping in mind that the Steam rankings are based on revenue, there's, that's a lot of copies of Among Us that are still being sold. And of course that doesn't include the iOS and all the other mobile versions. So first of all, just the simple fact that even the most successful stuff, there are still people who are playing it for the very first time. And that could even include something like Grand Theft Auto. Obviously Grand Theft Auto's gotten some re-releases for new console generations, but it is actually fair to say that Grand Theft Auto, in addition to selling a lot of the shark cards and whatnot. There are still people who are genuinely like playing that game for the very first time. But yeah, probably the biggest lesson for me has been what people get out of watching the stream. And it's fair, right? Because like I said, I don't watch a lot of Twitch. I don't actually have a very good taste for what works on, Twitch or YouTube or things like that. So I try to be as responsive as I can. But even the things that I think are necessary tend not to be. Although there are some other ways that works again. So like you'll notice I don't have very much in terms of like an interface or like a UI or like an overlay or that. And frankly, I just think most streams don't actually need all the nonsense that they have around the edges. I actually generally think most streams are better if it weren't to be cluttered. One drawback is it would be nice if I could have some way of a recording of chat, because I realize that for the broad, like for the YouTube videos, sometimes it's very weird to have me respond to something that it's weird to have me respond to something that people can't actually see. But even then, like that's I try to properly reply in those, like, sorry, when I say properly reply, I mean I try to say the question and then respond. Anyways, let's try and liberate Fearland. I think I said I was gonna move up to the camp and then down to the battle site. I'm curious to see how slowly that ticks down, because they did say that they increased the number. So I'm gonna stay around the edge until we're repaired. And then I go into stealth. Once we get in radar range, we go to overdrive. Nope. Birthday wishes. During some downtime, one of your pilots approaches you looking sheepish. Hey boss, he says. Look, I don't mean to bother you, but, well, it's my birthday today, and a few of us have been wondering if we could do a little something to celebrate. We've been working so hard lately, it'd be nice to relax. So we could throw a small party, let them eat cake, 6-hour duration, we lose 40 supplies, and all pilots recover 40, I'm assuming that's HP now. Sing happy birthday, a rousing song to make sure that set the birthday mood. You know what, let's throw a small party. I think I'm just going to barrel down on this thing now. Meanwhile, these guys are fighting for their lives. We're having a birthday party. Into the fray, the base comes alive with the sound of boots crashing against the floor. In the hangar, an engineer shouts his instructions to the crew, and a pilot rushes to get changed. You keep your eyes trained on the battle console, settling yourself with a deep breath. So, suit up. So, like I said, we're gonna adjust the pilots to like be members of chat in a future episode. For now, we're just gonna try and focus on as much gameplay as we can. So this is a raid. Sometimes bowing out is better than blowing up. Deployed mechs can retreat early after fulfilling their objective. It's a workout with objectives and enemies spread out on the map. Bring our fastest mechs. Show the guards a good fight and capture well-protected locations with our units. And we've got your back. The base will approach the combat throughout battles, so you can retreat if you need to. Yes, I also remember that there were some changes I needed to make to the mechs. So let's, I'm actually going to start by, going through any upgrades quickly. We've got the fancy new livery. Heavier SMG. I don't quite think I'm ready to put the SMG on. Okay, so this is basically the only difference is the thruster. If I'm willing to give up a bit of... So I'm going to guess that the hydraulics actually... Yeah, these are the exact same. Okay. So let's take those off. I'm not going to switch out the melee weapon, and then we've got a marksman rifle, so unless I have a better... Yeah, we're going to stick with what we got there. Okay, so if I recall correctly, this one had a heat capacity problem. So, first of all, what kind of a core do we have? Right, okay. So, the charge core is a very extreme answer. So, increases damage output by increasing heat dissipation. Let's see how slow the mech gets as a response. Oh, actually, sorry. Charge core, increased damage output by increasing heat capacity. Okay, so let's just see what my speed goes down to. 11. Yeah, we can't. We definitely can't go to 11. 12 is manageable. Okay, I'm interested in the in this arrow. So the I'm gonna ditch the regenerator here. Okay. I think what I'm probably going to need to do... So more damage, but lower concussive. I think I'll live with that. I don't think we have any melee weapons to play with. Okay, I also think this... nope, the medium's a problem because of the heat dissipation. I mean, it's tempting because the mass is slightly better. So tell you what, let's give this a 4 charge core. Yep. Okay, so thrusters, hot rod thrusters. Okay, hang on. I can definitely see some possibilities here. So I was originally scared to do the, kind of do the medium body, but I think this will work. So I'm going to put the low guy in for balance. We are going to go for the... Actually, you know what? I am going to try the 17. 13. Okay, let's try the heat core and see how that works. Actually, I should probably also just double check on that head armor. Those are shockingly inappropriate. Okay. So the bull and the lance are the last two. We already looked at the Sleipnir, so... Obviously we can't take all of them, but we also don't have that much left for our mechs. This is using the heavy shotgun, so... I'm a little suspicious, but... I think we said we were okay with a skinny arm for our shielded fellows. Now this interests me. On the other hand, we do lose the targeting sensor, it looks like. Nope, we don't even lose that. Okay, so last question is, can I do anything good with the machine gun? So I'm intrigued by the extra damage. I would have preferred. I think I might keep the torrent on this one for now. I should probably ditch the machine guns when we get to the workshop, but okay. So then the last question is, who do I bring on the mission? So I definitely want the Sleipnir in the wind. So we've got 1429. The lance is pretty much a mainstay. So I guess the question is, do I bring the bull or the... do I bring the bull or the ray? Ray's pretty fast, and it does have a pretty sweet melee weapon, but I think the machine gun is actually going to help me here. So we've got a few things that I want to be testing for this loadout. One is the heat levels, and then number two, I want to make sure that I haven't made the wind too slow as well. Isn't this a handsome looking squad? Hey, Immortality, how you doing? Oh yeah, sorry, I don't think I explained the Bruce Hansen thing. Anyway, so the second volume, like the econometrics part, showed up first, and that thing is massive, and it's at a PhD level, so I'm not going to be reading that right away. But the basic one, rebel units in range, engaging, requesting backup. I got the basic one in the mail today, and it's quite small, but it's got some good stuff in it. It's sort of, you know, you should have learned this before, but you probably didn't. So we're going to learn you, which is sometimes what you need. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is try to run this behind the hill. So first best is to protect my unit, but second best is to cause friendly fire. Okay. So the other option is to try like a really extreme move. Okay, so we definitely get tagged there. I could try something like a dash. Actually, I could try a dash. This would be very bold, but sometimes it's fun to try bold. Yeah, so that does absolutely nothing that I want. I could try one of these. But again, fails to meet the objective of causing friendly fire. So, there's a little bit of a possibility there. So let's start with a dash. Okay, so there's the... Oh, but these are missiles, so I'm never going to dodge them anyway. Okay, so I got to prep for the missiles. Oh, no. What is that thing? That's a sniper rifle. I need to take that seriously. Okay, so I'm just gonna sit and wait, but we are gonna have to make some moves next turn, no matter what. The good news, though, is that the rest of the squad is completely free to do whatever they want to the enemy. So, all right, so we're still overheating melee-wise. The point of the change to the thrusters was to try and stop this from happening, but this is our life now. So I'm curious. Yeah, I was hoping that maybe I'd be able to get away with dashing onto the high ground. Doesn't look like it. So as a second best. You know what? I'm going to focus on one of these tanks instead. Because normally we're able to knock those out. And I'm going to focus on one that's not going to be... Nope. That was the right one. Okay. And then finally, as far as the shotgunner is concerned, I don't think there's a whole lot of... That's really weird that I'm actually catching up with my... Okay. That's actually a worry that the shotgunner seems to be so effective. Okay, actually there's one thing I can try doing. So if I use the jump, question is, can I cool down? Yes, okay, so I can cool down in time for the end of the move. I'm a little uncomfortable standing still like this, but the catch is if I move, okay, actually, I can try and do one better. So obviously, I am potentially signing up for a world of hurt, depending on how that sniper shot goes. But I definitely prefer that move. Also, it frees up my lance. And I do think the right call is to just move him up the center. Although maybe not getting in the way of the... you know what, that'll have to do. Okay, let's see how it goes. Hey, Vanguard Master, how you doing? And no worries, Immortal Velity. Sorry, I didn't see your caution. I don't take attendance, and I always appreciate it when people hang out, whether they lurk, whether they stay and are active for the whole period of time. I'm actually going to be streaming for a shorter period tonight anyway, so... We hit no one! Unbelievable. I don't know what we could have done to make that work, but... Okay. So, first question is, who's getting hit? Okay, so we're not moving here. I want to take out the tank first before I get hit. So we run in. Now the good news is it looks like so obviously I overheat, but otherwise I seem to be in reasonably good shape. As far as damage is concerned. Okay, so this shotgun does not generate that much heat, which is good. So I'm just going to continue focusing down this unit. Okay, that's too much heat, though. So actually, if that's the case, what I can do is I can shield myself from the incoming fire. It's possible that pilot will be taken out before it becomes a problem. So, wait for the end of the shot. I'm definitely not above whacking it if it gets in my way. Okay, so the remaining question is, what do I do? So we're definitely keeping... Well, okay, so it's suggesting that past a certain point here, my attack isn't going to be effective. So I'm going to move... Okay, so if I move up like this... The big question is, am I able to effectively use this unit in the area? Yes, I basically get a full turn. That's a really, really good use of them, actually. Okay, so I'm a little worried about my my melee unit, but. So, here's what I'm going to do. It looks like there's a little bit of... Okay, so I'm going to hold on for the remaining sniper shot. Now, we've got missiles on their way to me. This is a pretty questionable move I'm going to be doing here. Apparently, if you dash, it does mess up the missiles, but the catch is that I'm moving towards the missiles, so I could just be making life easier for them. But the good news is that this does create a bit of cover for me. And then in the intermediate term, I'm able to get some. I can be sort of aggressive with my Sleipnir here, so it's thought you'd drop by before you head out tonight. Yeah, I'm other than the fact that I have to be a little bit quicker on this. It's not just Phantom Brigade, but it's some new work on Phantom Brigade. I hope you've got some fun plans for tonight. Okay, so external reinforcements. Another target knows about this fight. A squad took off from a nearby unit and is expected to land here soon. This is a really neat touch. I wonder if this has always been true and it's just been going on in the background. But this might actually give me some motivations. Well, I guess it already said that there was going to be reinforced. Well, I don't know. I'll dig into this a little bit more. I think this is just the same as any other reinforcements from the beginning of the briefing, and I'd still like kind of commit to wiping everything out. But we'll see how the turn goes. This is probably going to get taken out before it goes to safety. Okay, that's great. That one's taken out. This doesn't seem to be doing any concussive damage, even though it got hit in the back. So, now we get to watch the fun with the rockets. It's beautiful. Oh, there's still some more coming though. So I do want to watch that escape again. Should watch that at full speed. So there's a bit of damage there, but nothing too catastrophic. I do, however, want to see what happened to that. Okay, so looks like that. So it's just recording the 267 that was taken. Yeah, it's not so clear to me where that damage came from. Maybe it was that shotgun? That must have been it. But the machine gunner was doing exactly what we wanted them to do. So if you take a look at what happened this round, not only did this unit get taken out, but this one did as well. So we did some respectable damage on this unit from behind, but I have a feeling that's going to be the next target for the machine gunner. The one thing I am going to be worried about is what happens with the sniper. So right now the melee unit is sort of taking care of the objective. I'm probably going to have to move them. And in fact, one thing I might be willing to do is get them to make just sort of a quick excursion out to hit the sniper with a melee attack, and then come back to claim the objective. It is kind of funny that the objectives seem to be vanishing on me. Oh, I didn't even realize there was a... Okay, that's a big problem, actually. So I kind of need to hit this. I kind of need to hit both with this, and I'm not 100% sure that's going to happen. But it's the best I got here, so... and it also moves me away from this attack. Okay, so this unit isn't taken out yet. This does have a machine gun, so that is a credible threat, although the threat does drop off fairly dramatically. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just slightly adjust my positioning as the lance. So if I can... In fact, one thing I can do... Okay, clearly I gotta wait. It seems like a little bit of an extreme wait. Well, game wants me to wait that long. Sure. Never mind. I'm hoping that's enough time. So if I just dash like this... No, wait, I can't because this unit's in the way. I mean, I'm obviously taking my sweet time doing this, but I am getting out of the way of the machine gun, which is nice. And then for the rest of it, we just keep blasting away at our old friend. Okay, now the Sleipnir is running a bit hot. It also looks like its arm's been... arm could be in better shape. So this thing really only has... Ah, it's the shield. Interesting. Okay. So that gives me some options for the Sleipnir. So one thing I want to do is... I want to keep this unit in my sights. But given that I have a little bit of freedom here, so there's no point in attacking a unit right on their shield. So I'll do what I can against the vehicle first. Obviously, I don't want to overheat. I'm hoping 60 to 140 meters. We'll see whether or not I create problems for myself with those missiles. I'm hoping that the close range is going to mess them up. Okay, so first thing we want to see is how this melee strike works out. Okay, so this unit just got pulled out of the... Oh, no, sorry. They're not a sniper anymore, but they can still launch rockets at me. This did everything it was intended to. I genuinely don't remember where these rockets are headed, so I'm sure somebody's going to be in trouble. All right, they're headed for the Sleipnir, so I have a feeling I'm going to be dashing at the start of next turn. Good concussive damage here. So I want to keep an eye on what's happening over on this end, because we are going to be doing some damage to tanks, but clearly we've got 2 sets of missiles coming after my Sleipnir right now, so... Okay, so that guy just crashed. That's a thing of beauty there. We might get bonked on the head by a couple of these. Alright. That was a really good turn for us, so we can actually go back to the replay. So that unit was static, but the machine gun successfully took him out. This unit lost its legs. This unit's lost its sniper rifle. That unit's completely out of commission. Now, my Sleipnir is under a lot of pressure here, so there's the shotgun tank coming after them. They've got 2 sets of missiles. And my heat is pretty high, so it may be tricky to try and do some kind of a daring escape, but that's exactly what I'm going to try and do. The great news here is that most of my units are not really tied up with other units. Now, it is worth keeping in mind, we've got 2 turns before the reinforcements, so I do want to put some thought in terms of how I'm going to deal with 6 fresh units. But at the very least, if we can kind of clear out the enemy forces here, we're in a considerably better position. So first thing I want to try and do, because it looks like it's all missiles all the time. So I'm zipping forward with my Sleipnir. So essentially I want to do damage where I can. Oh, that's definitely not even close to where I want to be. Okay, actually this still gives me possibilities. So it's not exciting to leave something like the Sleipnir out of combat, but it does let me get an objective before the enemy tries anything. So what I'm going to do here is continue to bully this. I'm going to continue to bully this unit. It's 428 damage in the central torso. So this thing does 876 in a full volley. Now, normally I don't like trying to wipe out units like this. Okay, well, we're going to overheat anyway. So the reason I'm willing to like wipe it out though is the benefit of. Ooh, actually, I know what I want to do. The benefit of eliminating that threat is higher than, than any scrap that I might get. So, want to extended wait. So this works well for me. I might. No, this isn't worth it. So the nice thing here is that I can go close range with the missile-focused unit. Okay, so now there's another thing that I can try and do. I could do a super bold... I mean, this is too fancy not to try, right? So... So that means that the machine gunner has to... I suppose in this case it's really just a prep for the next turn. I'm not sure if I can get them into a good spot to attack. Well, okay, let's test that. Is that really line of sight? I guess because it's only trees in the way. Okay, well, wouldn't have been my first choice, but... Now the thing is that I don't actually, like... I do want to get closer, So that said 72. I'm a little weirded out by that number. It's like apparently that's the perfect range. I'm sure we can manage that. If nothing else, that's going to do some decent concussive damage. There is a small argument to do that to the shotgun tank, especially because I don't have a lot of other units really prepared for handling them, but this unit does have a shield to protect itself, so I'm a little less worried. I am slightly concerned that this unit may fall over the tank, but not enough that I'm going to throw the shield up. That will be unfortunate if that happens, and I'll make a note of it, but I don't think it's worth building my turn around. So we got a lot that's going on. Let's see. I think the first thing I want to do is see if the Sleipnir gets away. It does not. Well, it sort of does. So obviously the machine gun's going to be all over the place here, but we weren't expecting anything from it. Alright, well, that was unnecessary heat damage, and I'm probably going to wind up crashing over this. So it's hard to say whether or not the unit's going to be destroyed, or if it's just going to be concussed. Either way... Okay. Concussed. We're definitely running hot. It's a healthy amount of HP damage there. Drone has a rough location of the crate, but we're going to need another ping to ensure it's picked up. Stay at the location to finish this. Okay. So reinforcements arrive next turn. So I don't exactly want to maneuver out. I want to like take a big swing at this unit immediately. I'm hoping that does enough. So the cool thing about this is that I actually get to switch units. So this gives the Sleipnir a chance to do a bit of maneuvering. Now, obviously, this is assuming that the melee strike doesn't work, because it's possible that that unit might be taken out already. But I tend to find it helpful to, I kind of find it helpful to sometimes run with some contingencies. That's going to collide, so I can't do it that way. Okay, I'm not crazy about directing this unit's fire to the melee unit, so I'm just going to run off to the side like so. Okay. So I had a pretty clear idea about what we wanted to do with the machine gunner. It does look like we're getting some nasty heat, which I'm less fond of. Now this unit's pretty... Oh, they're ejecting already. Okay, that's great news. In fact, I can afford to walk away from the... problem. I feel really bad doing this, but... So normally I don't like doing attacks that go so far into the next turn. But being able to take this unit out is a really big deal for me. Now, one thing that is unfortunate is that this unit's basically not very helpful this turn. Like I can run them into the middle of things, but at this point it's more. Actually, I'll just dash them the whole way. That way we can. What? In this case, it may make some sense to run behind some cover. All right, so first thing I want to see is how this melee strike works. This looks like the Jason Momoa meme. Too late on the dash. Mind you, majority was barrier, so hard to complain about that. Although I might land on the missiles. Unbelievable. So looks like that unit got destroyed first. So all that's really left at this point is the tank. Oh, but we didn't make it to the objective. Okay, so new units are on their way. So I definitely want to protect the Sleipnir. Let's see where the new... Okay, this is not a bad position for me to just sort of wait in. Although actually there's a couple of... It looks like there's a couple missed launches there, so... So yeah, the question really comes down to where... Okay, that's almost certainly going to take out that tank, so we'll miss a little bit of it, but for the rest of the turn I think we'll be fine. The machine gunner... Like, clearly I need to get them in the middle of the fight here. I think I'm just going to put up my shield if people come after them. And the Sleipnir just can't sit on the sidelines like that, so... here's what I'm gonna do. So this kind of commits me to taking out this tank. So this should still get the objective by... Nope. Damn. I need to be in that thing by the end of the turn. I was going to say, surely that should count, but I don't actually want to leave this to chance. So I think I'm just going to have to accept some really paltry returns on these attacks. That's not ideal, but... Oh. Okay. I'm completely redoing this turn. So you got to get in there before the tank for sure. So assuming this thing is still around, 2 rounds with the semi, if nothing else. Ugh. Yeah, that stops me from being hit. And again, that's kind of built on a turn. It's built on a turn that assumes that the machine gun is not successful at taking out the tank. We'll see if that turns out. Well, at least it... Yeah, that's done for. So we've got the objectives. If I want, I can extract. And the music's saying that I'm in bad shape. So we've got a heavy launcher coming after me, and we've got a shotgun. Okay, so they're firing with missiles. The tanks have autocannons. Now, it said that 6 units were coming in. Aha. Okay, that marksman is a bit of a worry. Okay, so these guys definitely want to engage at close range. For the shotgunner, I kind of need to oblige them. But I have constructive ways of doing that, so let's just take a quick look and see how the turn goes. So they start by firing missiles at me. Okay. So there's some interesting possibilities here. So I think the first thing I'm going to do, what I'll set the turn up for is kind of the revenge. Now, this is going to create a problem with this autocannon unit, because probably at the end of the turn, that's going to focus on the lance. So what I'll do here is I'll wait. I'm going to start moving kind of back a bit. But the real hope is going to be that I can get some kind of a unit to deal with this this unit before the shotgun. Okay, now the machine gun. The machine gun may in fact be the... Oh, interesting. Okay, so I was going to say, like, the plan was that I'd put up my shield like this, but nobody's really targeting this unit. So maybe I want to rethink how I'm doing this turn. Because if I don't need to worry about enemy units... Well, I guess I have that turn against the tank. Okay, so if I throw up my shield to contend with the tank here... I can spend the rest of the time firing the shotgun. Now, I'm not crazy about the range, so there might be something I can do about... Okay, well, this is a perfect spot, so... And it does still get a little bit of that friendly fire, which is what I wanted, so... Now, the machine gunner's in a bit of a bind here, because there are going to be rockets coming after them. Looks like it's 2 sets of rockets. So one question I have is there a way that I can fire my gun before the rockets become a liability? Probably not, but you know what? Oh, no, that doesn't work. That's the fastest way I can get into the... So if I just say ignore the problem, which is always the correct approach. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. There may be some... I may kind of pay a debt for that, but... Okay, so the whole idea here is once they fire the rockets, I kind of dash and hide behind cover. So the rest of the turn is really about how much heat can I spend taking these guys out. Okay, so first of all, I need to pay attention to where my people are walking, otherwise I'm in trouble. Oh my goodness, brace yourself! Thank you very much for resubscribing. Yes, well, I was a bit closer to my usual time. I should caution that I'm going to be hosting Marlon's old stomping grounds, Dirty Rectangles. I think they said they were going to start at 8, but I know they're also a little late in starting, so it may be a short time that we spend together. And I'll actually confess, because of that, I have not been playing around with the pilot customization as much as I would like. But I'm really happy to see you here. Obviously, for those of you who do not know, Brace Yourself, the Twitch account affiliated with the developers behind this wonderful game. But Brace Yourself Games, on top of making many strange and wonderful gaming experiences, they're really good at broadcasting. So I don't think it's unique among indies, but Brace Yourself has got sort of a dedicated team. Well, I mean, I guess it's a community management team, but they do regular broadcasts. So in addition to hosting their Discord, in addition to, you know, cutting really good trailers, and then I think Ryan has been working on a TikTok lately for various game dev advice. I don't know if that's a long-term project or not. But one of the delightful things about Brace Yourself Games is that you actually get to see and sort of put faces to games if you watch their broadcasts, and it's not just limited to Brace Yourself Games. They'll be playing things that are not necessarily Brace Yourself Games. I actually had a particular fondness for their Garctic Phone session, because it turns out there's a lot of rather... I'm sure people will laugh to say this, but they've actually got some good artists working there who are not dedicated to art. And that in Gartic Phone is a lot of fun to watch. But in any case, it's a wonderful Twitch channel to check out. You can also check out their YouTube because they multi-stream. But if you like seeing these kinds of games broadcast, you get a chance to see the people behind them, and it's also the official source. So I'll have my speculations, but that's also the place to go if you want official questions. Although perhaps the Discord works a bit better. Yes, and you may notice this is the first time we've seen the delightful game developer badge show up, so... Alright, I'm a little uncertain about this turn, to be honest. I think this unit's going to take a bit too much damage, and I'm not quite sure my damage output is quite where it needs to be, but let's see how it goes. I think we can speed it up a little bit at the start. I was hoping for some friendly fire here, but I think the height difference is too great. So we're hoping to dodge the missiles here. We're effectively ignoring the missiles from the machine gunner, so we'll see whether or not that proves to be costly. Well, there's a little friendly fire there, I guess. Definitely some respectable HP damage there. But now the question is whether or not we can dodge it. We're going to dodge right into those things. We're also at 60% pilot HP, so that may prove costly. That could have been worse. Sorry about your car. Okay. So some of the objectives that we were going for, we achieved. So this tank is down to 20% pilot health. We also have a little bit more to go for damage, so we may actually be able to take them out. If nothing else, we don't need to worry about them. We don't need to worry about them this time. Now the missiles are on their way. If you take a look at their trajectory, it really looks like they're gonna slam into the wall, which would be brilliant. But I am probably gonna need to make a move. Now, this guy's got a pretty strong weapon that they're firing against my Sleipnir. So, basically, on this side of the battle, we're gonna switch dance partners. We need to cool down a little bit. Oh, hang on. Why walk to the enemy when they'll come to you? Now, last time we tried this, we actually didn't successfully hit them. So I'm hoping that turns out. Obviously, we're going to need to worry about the heat capacity in future. This at least lets me get in the fight. So the plan was to sort of switch dance partners. So basically I'm going to take the Sleipnir, and they can mop up the tank here. Thank you for recommending Chris and Simon's blogs, by the way. Brace yourself. I don't know if you're on the clock or not, but I know I know that's a question you probably get a lot. Actually, now is not a bad time, because I know, for those of you who don't know, Vanguard Master has been working on, so it used to be a Kickstarter, and I think now it's a GoFundMe, but now is not a bad time for me to shout out Cheeseness. Cheeseness is the person, technically is my second game developer credit, so really I should be getting one of them game dev badges too. Oh wait, no, sorry, it's not Cheese, it's Valiant Cheese. Cheeseness is the, no, Valiant Cheese is the, it's still not the right one. Oh, you wouldn't say congratulations if you saw the game. Actually, hang on a second. Sorry to be so quiet. I just want to take a quick second here. Yeah, one of the reasons I wanted to highlight that is, oh my god, Dirty Rectangles is already underway. Well, I can't save in the middle of combat, so we're just going to be late to Dirty Rectangles. And I am okay with that. This is like, shame on them for starting on time for the first time. But in any case, one of the reasons why I wanted to take a second on this was Valiant Cheese also broadcasts game development, very focused on open source tools, and so they use Godot, they use Blender, they advocate for Linux a lot. In fact, I think they had really nice things to say about Crypto the Necrodancer because of its Linux support. But in this case, Valiant Cheese is also somebody who, so to me, they brought me along on a fun little journey for supply chain. So again, I say it's somewhat tongue-in-cheek, its second game development credit, because it's a small game, and certainly Valiant Cheese is a much more talented developer than than I'm going to be. But on the other hand, I can also tell stories about what I did and why I did what I did inside of that game. But in any case, he's very much about sort of enabling creators and sort of giving advice. And he's worked on some stuff that we've played. So that'll include Hand of Fate 2, Day of the Tentacle. I think he also worked on the Full Throttle remaster. Currently is independent, but again, he's another resource which is really good. And the reason why I wanted to take a minute to shout him out as well, I know he's not here, but he was also somebody who was helping out Vanguard Master, and I figured it's not a bad time to share one other reference that probably might otherwise go unmentioned. Okay. I've put off dealing with my problems long enough. I think I'm going to run the Sleipnir right around the edge. I don't know if we're going to be able to do much. Well, we can kind of take a flyer on it. Okay, so that's the Sleipnir dealt with. We've got the wind sort of running through. We haven't figured out what to do. The original plan was, like I said, to switch dance partners so that the Sleipnir finishes off the last HP damage, and then the machine gun will deal with this this rocket unit. Now, the one challenge is that now that the melee unit has potentially struck them, if this unit falls right in here, it's actually a really tough spot to hit them. Okay, fortunately, though, this can all turn out, so I'm not crazy about the chance to hit from this distance, but it works really well if they do fall on this end here. Gonna head home now. I'm glad I was able to pop in and distract you. Oh, thank you so much. It's never a distraction. It's actually my chance to shout out the Discord and the Twitch channel, because you're all very wonderful people. I hope the team knows that, although I still feel bad. I believe Bahar is Soggy Newspaper, and Lulu is Cthulhu, which is a great name, and I think close to how the actual name is. But I think I got them mixed up for the longest time. And then I also think I never credited Tina with writing stuff. So I also feel really, really guilty sometimes about like missing some of the names. So this is the excuse. More people need to go on the broadcast so that they can be properly credited for their work. Anyways, have a wonderful evening, and I hope I get a chance to catch you on your channel before too long. My work hours have really kept me from being able to watch your stuff, so but take care. We'll chat in the future. Also, please do not feel any obligation to follow that follow that link. I just figured I because I mentioned it, I owed you an explanation at least. All right, have a good one, Vanguard Master. I'm sure we'll talk, if not on the next stream, then in between All right, so we did, like I said, we switched dance partners. This will probably get taken out by the Sleipnir. I've got the machine gun focusing on one of the bigger threats. The aim right now, I did dash this unit for the simple reason that I don't necessarily know that the missiles are going to be crashing into the wall. The plan is here, if we mop up the 4 units that came on this side, it's quite simple to take out 2 units. And this one's got an autocannon, so the longer I stay further away from it, the longer it'll take to take me out. I'm also a little bit lucky that the marksman rifle is not very useful right now, but that is going to end sooner rather than later. So the question before us now is, how do I deal? So this thing's also got a shotgun. So I think first thing I'm going to do is throw up a shield. I'm going to wait a little while to finish my shotgun attack, but then I'm going to walk around the edge, because that's just the kind of jerk that I am. Not actually going to walk that far, though. Okay, they are going to do 2 rounds of firing at me, so maybe I am going to walk around the edge. Oh, this is funny. I think I actually... I believe I do win this this shield competition. So I was thinking of going around the edge, but this is actually really funny just because I get to barrel through them with my shield, and I think that has the same effect that I wanted. So let's see how the turn turns out. Okay, the machine gun might actually be... Okay, this is good news here. Yeah, so pilot's concussed. The machine gun attacks are not relevant. So we're going to be able to see the melee strike in the background. I'm a little surprised of the concussive damage when I've got the shield up. I kind of would have thought that would protect. But I am curious to see if we successfully crash this unit or not. Yes, we do. Oh, you love to see it. So that unit's completely taken out. That's 2 crashed units. So the Sleipnir may be in a bit of trouble here because I don't think we're going to be able to dash. Yeah, we're not going to be able to dash our way out of this one. Okay, huge turn for us. So, okay, that unit just straight out gone. I'm actually a bit worried about my left arm here. So I'm trying to think what the best way to... I guess moving out around the edge here. Like, I don't see how... I don't see how using my thrusters are going to help at this point. So I'm going to move the Sleipnir to flank. This unit is crashing but not gone. It's still... Oh, sorry, that's the... Okay, that's the tank. This unit still has all its parts. Okay, so they're going to be hopping mad at my... They're going to be hopping mad at my shotgun unit, so we'll... I'm going to take a little damage in retaliation, but... Okay. It's a little late in the turn. But I think it's best to... It'll be short range on short range. So this is my melee unit. Now the best use of the melee unit right now will actually be to charge in and do something to the unit with the marksman rifle. So we're just going to run in through the edge here. Now one thing I might be able to get away with... Nope, that's going to take more than one turn. Well, that's fine. I'm actually not that worried about sort of delaying the arrival of the... I'm not that worried about delaying the arrival of the melee unit. Okay, so this turn is about positioning. So we'll see how the Sleipnir fares. Hey! That was a really good turn. Okay, so the shotgunner wants a... Huh. Man, they really did not set themselves up for success here. So what my hope was going to be was that I would dash in into the middle here. Now the one problem I have is... Okay, so let's say I do all of this successfully. I'm still in danger of the shotgun. So here's my alternative. We're gonna do the old charge the shotgunner strategy again. I don't know if that's gonna count as a... Yeah, you know what? I better make sure. So, oh, nuts. I was hoping that that would be a little more effective on range. That is, though. So this is more just an attack, like, this is more about just getting an attack in rather than a good one. Okay, let's see how the turn goes. It's a little different from what I was expecting. Maybe one other thing I will do just as a precaution is keep that shield up. And I should probably prep for the next phase. Okay, I can, so. Oh, I lost my shield. I really should have checked. That's actually a big, that's a big blunder on my part. Okay, well, we've got an advantage, so let's press it. I think in this case we're just going to focus the entire team on this unit. I'm not going to involve the melee unit here. Yeah, I feel bad. I'm going to have to waste some resources recovering my shield. This is probably too much, but... Oh, hang on. This unit isn't... No. No, sorry. Its right arm is gone, but it still has a compact launcher, so I do actually need to... I do need to take this seriously still. Victory! All hostiles eliminated, site under control. Okay, so 25 to get the stance back, but 10%, a little over 10% of our total. That could have been worse, I think. So as usual, we go for the expensive stuff. I'm going to start with blues. I may make exceptions for greens if they are parts that I want. It's always good to get a shotgun. So I've got 20 points left. 5. Got to be one of these 25s. Hollowed plating's not bad. Let's go for that. Okay, so that camp's probably going to send reinforcements after us, so we're going to switch to cruise, and we're going to go to the battle site. Now I do need to get ready to host Dirty Rectangles, but what I'm hoping to get done here is some repair. Now what does intrigue me here is it looks like my repair resources regenerated for some reason. And I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sure what triggered that, but I am quite happy about it. So in the next episode, what we're going to do... So first of all, I got to clear out this battle site. Depending on the time available, I should take out the camp because that's probably going to be enough to liberate. But if the battle site's kind of at this level here, we want to help our reinforcements first. But more importantly, I'm going to start on time next week, or I'll try to at least, and I'll make sure that all of the pilots get customized, I don't know, maybe we'll name them after people in chat or something like that. And again, I apologize for the shorter stream tonight. Let me just make sure Dirty Rectangles is still going on. Yes. All right. So it is currently... oh, it doesn't say the name on the broadcast right now. But yeah, they've been going for about half an hour now. So Dirty Rectangles, again, just a reminder, is the local game dev collective for Ottawa. There's also a Toronto chapter, so when they're doing things online, kind of everybody's combined there. It does look like it's Jonah currently playing his game, so it looks like that is their link. And I do hope you stick around because they, I don't know, like I said, it's a fun community, and one that I would kind of encourage more people to hang out with, particularly with Vanguard Master's question. I know he's not necessarily around, but as Brace Yourself said, one of the ways that you can sort of help get your name out is by community by connecting with people and being able to engage with them. So whether you're looking for some new games to play or whether you're looking for just a bunch of interesting people to hang out with, I'm going to be hosting Dirty Rectangles tonight. I am sorry for a shorter broadcast. It's a little under 2 hours. We will be back to Phantom Brigade next week. Friday, I will either be playing Out There or Quake. I'm slightly inclined towards Quake because I really enjoy it, and we'd be doing the third chapter or episode or whatever. But as always, Twitter will be the place to find out what the final decision is, or you can just come hang out. And then next Monday, Old World, but let's not think about next week until it's a little bit closer. Anyways, have a great time in Dirty Rectangles. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Posters and stuff like that over the years. A lot of the art for those comes